Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex. This is Big Baby Reviews, and today is Wildcard Sunday. So what are we looking at? Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, issue 249, dated December 1987. What's the reason to have this issue? Well, the Rick Leonardi art. I think he's one of those guys who's not talked about a lot, but is kind of one of those precursors, kind of like Michael Golden, to the Image style. At least I believe, the kind of extreme musculature and hatching, and kind of these elements here remind me of, say, stuff Todd McFarlane's done. And I know somewhere I read about him really liking Rick Leonardi and his art, and Michael Golden as well, right? I feel like Rick Leonardi and Michael Golden have a similar kind of vibe, and even amongst the house style of the 80s, they're two artists before those Image guys, the McFarlane and Liefelds and Larsons and stuff, even though they were working at Marvel before they went to Image. Just before that, there was these guys. You'd even throw in maybe Arthur Adams, whose style was quite different from any kind of house style at Marvel or DC, and generally was well appreciated and well taken. So this is definitely one of those issues and an example of that. I think this is maybe some sort of deadline fill-in. It's a hypothesis on my part. I'm not 100% sure, but it is a two-parter, so I could be wrong. But I do feel like this was drawn fairly quickly and energetically, and that totally comes through in the art. Already on this cover here, there's like a slight, like, super dynamic vibey manga thing going on, and like I said, in that aspect, that kind of might resemble a little bit of Michael Golden stuff as well. So let's crack this one open, have a look inside too. So right off the bat, we start off, Wolverine is basically investigating a murder. He's looking for signs. The murderer is a bushwhacker. Okay, so that's all you really need to know. That's Wolverine is on the hunt for a killer. That trope. A lot of tropes in this comic, especially those involving Wolverine, his interactions with others when Daredevil shows up. But let's have a look at the credits here. Ann Nocenti, writer. Okay, so I didn't know, for example, that Ann Nocenti had written before John Romita Jr. jumps on. So maybe this is maybe the start of her run, the issue before this. Could be wrong. Rick Leonardi is the penciler, as we talked about, and Al Williamson is the inker. Al Williamson can pretty much ink anyone. He can draw his ass off. And he's inked, I don't know, pretty much every penciler from like the 50s on or something. So, I don't think he's taken anything away from the Rick Leonardi pencils underneath. He might be, enhancing a little bit here and then defining stuff, because again, it does feel like it was drawn quickly, but that's, again, in this case, a plus because of the dynamics and the movement that I keep talking about all the time, but that's flows through the line and through the art, right? I mean, that's a great moving piece there, even though this is a still image. Good stuff. Yeah, great kind of money shot. So with this comic, I feel there's maybe, again, that deadline issue. I might be wrong, but production-wise, it does feel like there are certain pages where, I feel like this page should be here. Maybe there's like a first page splash or something that's missing. And this should be page 2, and this should be page 3. And this should be a page turn, right? Where you turn over and you're surprised, obviously, by the cool kind of splash page pinup shot. And then, that's usually in most comics, in that instance, that story, using that storytelling technique, the credits would be revealed over on this side. I could be wrong, but this feels like a page turn. There's a few things here with the ads and stuff that like make me think that maybe that's what it is. So, I thought it was funny looking back that JRJR came in after this. So I guess he probably looked at the first, the last few issues prior to his run to kind of look at what, how Daredevil was being depicted. Because this does, to me, resemble John Romita Jr.'s depiction of Daredevil, Matt Murdock, very much. It's pretty similar. Maybe he looked at it and liked it already and decided not to mess with something that was working. Maybe the editor specifically asked him, try to make it look as much as possible as what Rick Leonardi just did. So eventually, great storytelling everywhere from Rick Leonardi, great artist, super clear images, panel flow, everything makes sense, and just has this line that, makes the characters energetic and, again, moving. Good body language on everyone. And just enough economy of line too to just, I feel like he probably does this fairly quickly. I could be wrong, but like some of these backgrounds here, that's great. Bet you could do that, this panel maybe 45 minutes, half an hour. Not me, but Rick Leonardi can. Some more great storytelling off on a bike. So at some point he picks up some girl. Not quite sure. Like I said, I mostly look at the art now. I don't read them. And again, if we're talking about page turns, I feel like, with the suspense building up here, getting close, he pulls the gun up, okay, which is his hand. And then boom here. I do feel this would have been way more effective if there was a page turn, right? So this would be on this side. You would turn that over, and what you would see, the surprise of the boom, would be on the next page, right? You always try to plan as much as possible, some sort of surprise or something, not always shocking, but something different, shocking for that next page once you turn over and you see that over here, right? That's what it feels like to me, naturally with the storytelling. And also when you get down here, right, the argument could be that, well, no, the page turn here, right, works to, forget the ad, show Wolverine here, schnicked, right? And oh, Wolverine's there. Like, that's pretty cool, actually, just seeing this guy, watching his cartoons here in the theater, and then page turn, and you get this. The only thing that kind of tells me that maybe that's not the case is the fact that Wolverine appears here. So the page turn is kind of irrelevant, even though it is cool to see Wolverine pulling his claws in that next panel. Wolverine's revealed here at the end of the page, right? No surprise other than the schnick of his blades. I could be wrong. All of these poses here, Wolverine, all these angles, like, how simple and effective the composition of just this panel. Put it at an angle, tilt it, Wolverine up close with his claws looking badass, Daredevil up here, kind of peering down. Assumes Wolverine doesn't know he's there, but, Wolverine's got that nose, right? He's got to know that Daredevil's there. So following this bushwhacker guy again, quite the jerk it seems. Busts up this hobo's liquor. Where, why? Messing with the hobo trope. And here's where the production-wise, the coloring gets a little crazy and hokey, but I kind of like it. I still like this kind of brutish, kind of quick style, even for the colors, I think, is what happened there. It had to be done fast. If you look closely here, the colorist colored these kind of spaces here to look like Wolverine's eyes, which looks insane. If you kind of block out this, maybe you can see it. It just looks kind of crazy if you really think those are his eyes. Obviously, I'm pretty sure these two spaces down here that are red is what should have been colored white, right? For the eyes, that makes much more sense. And you kind of, these sections should be red, and they're kind of part of Wolverine's brow, not his eyes. So it just makes it really kind of weird looking. Obviously it's a mistake, but it's part of the appeal of this comic. And again, that brutish kind of color they're using. Here I see something that, is kind of interesting. Daredevil's eyes are always red like his costume, but here you can actually see the bottom of his face is red as well. So obviously that's a miscolor, misprint, whatever. I do think it looks kind of cool when Daredevil's like that. And years later, not my favorite artist or anything, but Alex Maleev, if I remember correctly, when he would depict Daredevil in the Daredevil series that what he did with Bendis, his whole face was red, if I'm not mistaken. I have a distinct kind of memory of that. All these shots here, more miscoloring. The eyes aren't even apparent here, and you can make them out. Obviously, they would be kind of wide open here. No white added there, so this was colored pretty quickly. Still pretty cool, though. And look at this stuff, just proto-image stuff to me. Like Larry Stroman probably really liked Rick Leonardi in this stuff. I don't know. Lots of cool, extra kind of layered hatching. It doesn't look like Marvel DC house style. It looks a little more fun and cooler, I guess. At least back when we were kids. He still has great establishing shots. Super simple here, right? With the silhouette. That is a super smart panel right there. Foreground, middle ground, Daredevil, bit of background there. Done pretty quick. Looks awesome. dramatic mood here, silhouettes. Like, he's got all the tricks, the storytelling tricks and the deadline tricks as well. Daredevil, Wolverine battling it out again, right? Great shot here once again. All the layering, foreground, Wolverine, middle ground, cars, this oil lube, gas station, right? Daredevil over here, I guess technically in the background when you consider these three figures, right? And the movement of it, Daredevil, Wolverine to this guy, right? There's the reason he's positioned these characters this way, and he's composed the image so your eye is led where it needs to go. Love this part because it's so funny. Wolverine's dodging all those bullets, and now I'm pretty sure he'd just be running, straight at the bullets, and they'd just be hitting him. I think I've seen that in many movies and comics and stuff nowadays. Wolverine doesn't seem to avoid the bullets now because of his healing factor. More action. Bushwhacker ends up inside this oil tanker. Wolverine threatens to light him on fire. Daredevil, of course, he's, that's why he's at odds with Wolverine. He's the lawyer, truth and justice and all that stuff. And we can't kill these psycho criminals, right? I mean, the whole reason, the Punisher and Wolverine exist, they're kind of an answer to that question from the, probably that started in the 40s and 50s and even through the 60s of, these do-gooders. Why don't they, just kill the bad guys, and end their reign of terror, right? So the 70s heroes like Wolverine, Punisher are the answer to that, right? That's basically why they're around. So that's kind of with Wolverine when he meets another kind of more do-goodery, I say do-goodery kind of superhero, they always obviously are at odds, right? Because Wolverine wants to kill, but then the writer always finds a way for Wolverine not to actually kill the guy. In this case, Berserker actually with his kind of handgun fist whatever thing seems to set himself on fire there. And of course, Wolverine, Daredevil once again arguing about something. A lawbreaker. Wolverine wants to... Oh, he doesn't actually die here. My mistake. So he blows up the tanker, but everyone's saved. Daredevil saves him, I guess. Is that what happened? Yes, right here. Yeah, still at odds. Are they going to kill him or not? Can they kill him or not? And of course, Daredevil, listen, I hear sirens. Daredevil, you and I, we're two different kinds of animals. Yes, we are. So, Wolverine kind of, shies away from the law. Daredevil stands for it, I guess, is what they're kind of going with this composition here. And that's pretty much the end of the issue. We get a bit of, melodrama, Matt Murdock kind of story here. Like I said, that look, I think, definitely influenced John Romita Jr. on his run starting next issue. And there it is for this issue of Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, 249. Just want to thank everyone for checking out my channel. Like and subscribe if you're inclined to do so. And everyone out there, I wish you all have a great day.
Like! Subscribe! Like! Subscribe!
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13. 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at kingcomics.ca, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.